The Beatles have been known to be one of the best bands in the history of rock music, with their career having remained pretty successful over the 1960s, but aside from saying that, they have been one of the most important and influential bands for other musicians and bands as well. But from saying that, I'm going to go ahead and share some interesting facts about the Beatles you never knew about. So sit back and enjoy, because here are some facts you probably never knew about. So let's go. Before performing in Tokyo, Japan in 1966, the Beatles received an anonymous message saying, "Do not go to Tokyo, your life is in danger," as 35,000 police officers were tasked to protect the group. The Japanese audience was so polite and quiet, they were able to hear how bad the live performance really was. The band helped end racially segregated concerts by refusing to play at segregated events, as this was going on in the 1960s with the civil rights movement as well. According to Ringo, the album Revolver was going to be named after geography originally, to contrast with the Rolling Stones album Aftermath. One time, a school student sent John Lennon a letter stating his teacher was conducting a class analysing the lyrics of Beatles songs. This act, however, inspired the song I Am the Walrus, as the whole purpose of the song, according to Lennon, was to confuse, befuddle, and mess with the Beatles experts. Carl Sagan apparently wanted to include the Beatles song Here Comes the Sun on the golden record sent into space on the Voyager spacecraft. The Beatles said yes to this, but unfortunately EMI said no. Prior to its release, the band played a demo copy of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band at full volume from an open apartment window at 6 a.m. Instead of complaining, the residents opened their windows and listened, aware they were hearing unreleased Beatles music for the first time. One time, the Beatles actually asked legendary filmmaker Stanley Kubrick to direct a Lord of the Rings movie, starring George as Gandalf, Paul as Frodo, Ringo as Sam, and John as Gollum. But J.R.R. Tolkien, the author, would not let them do this, however. Since the song Penny Lane was becoming very popular at the time, street signs in Liverpool were also stolen, as local authorities got tired of replacing them and began painting the street's name onto the sides of buildings. The 1969 album Abbey Road was originally going to be called Everest, and the band even considered flying to the actual Himalayas to shoot the cover photo, but instead they named it Abbey Road and shot the front photo in front of the studio. In Soviet Russia, due to the strict censorship of music, there was a black market for Beatles records that had been etched onto used X-ray film. Some would sell for an entire month's salary, and the records earned the name Music on the Bones. The final track on Sgt. Pepper's, called A Day in the Life, has the sound of an ultrasonic whistle at the very end, which is not heard by humans, but by dogs. Apparently, this was recorded by Paul for the enjoyment of his Shetland sheepdog. Early on in the days, it was apparently said that Beatles concerts smelt heavily of urine due to overexcited girls. Oh my gosh, could you imagine how bad it would have smelt in there? Oh. The last song on Abbey Road, titled Her Majesty, is the shortest song by the Beatles, just running at 23 seconds. In January 1967, the Beatles recorded a 14-minute avant-garde performance that is unreleased to this day. It was called Carnival of Light and was considered the holy grail of missing Beatles songs. Israel didn't allow the Beatles to have a show there because they thought that they have an insufficient artistic level and cannot add to the spiritual and cultural life of the youth in Israel. While the band were at a British embassy reception in Washington, D.C. in 1964, someone cut off a lock of Ringo's hair as a souvenir. Ringo then told in an interview, "Those diplomats just didn't know how to behave." The TV show Mad Men paid $250,000 for the master recording of the Beatles song Tomorrow Never Knows that just played for 2 minutes during a season 5 episode. The animators of the 1967 Disney film The Jungle Book actually based the looks of the vultures on the Beatles because of their mop-top hairstyles and actually considered having the members voice the characters. But unfortunately, it wasn't happening. The only time the band came very close to reuniting was in 1979 at the wedding of Eric Clapton, who had married George's ex-wife, Pattie Boyd. Starr, McCartney and Harrison had all attended and played, but unfortunately Lennon refused. That's a shame. So yeah, there's 20 facts about the Beatles you never knew about, which are very interesting. So what do you think I should make in another fact video very soon? Leave a like and also make sure to subscribe and comment on what you think I should do next. Thanks for watching so much.